In the land of R&B music, Toni Braxton is an undisputed living legend. Her early discography is rankable amongst other iconic divas, such as Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. With her 5'2" body frame, deep husky voice, and enchanting eyes, Toni reigned over the 90s and garnered immense success. The world would first be introduced to her through her eponymous debut album, with hits like Breathe Again and Another Sad Love Song. However, it was her second studio album titled Secrets that Toni cemented her legacy and became a force to be reckoned with. Not only does it have the biggest hit of her career, but it also carries some of the best deep cuts in 90s R&B. In this video, we're going to be discussing the rise of Toni, as well as the madness that went behind her second studio album, Secrets. Let's get into it. Toni Michelle Braxton was born in Severn, Maryland on October 7th of 1967. She's the oldest of four musically inclined sisters, named Tracy, Trina, Tawanda, and Tamar. During her childhood, Toni's family made her follow strict religious guidelines, such as not wearing pants, celebrating holidays, or consuming secular media. These rules made Toni feel isolated from her peers, so while her parents went shopping, she would secretly watch Soul Train and fell in love with artists like Luther Vandross and Donna Summer. After Toni's mother recognized that her 5 daughters had vocal talent, she organized them into a girl group called the Braxtons and had them perform at their local church. Much like the Jackson 5, Toni's mother made sure that their harmonies were tight, often having them practice for days. While Toni was enrolled at Bowie State University, studying to be an elementary educator, she was discovered by music producers Bill Petaway and Ernesto Phillips. The producers got her and her 4 sisters signed to Arista Records, and the Braxtons released their debut single titled The Good Life in 1990. Unfortunately, the song underperformed, peaking at number 79 on the Billboard charts. Arista Records considered dropping the group, but instead sent them to producers L.A. Reid and Babyface, who recently opened a subsidiary record label in Atlanta called LaFace Records. Having recently signed girl group TLC, L.A. and Babyface weren't looking for another girl group, but were instead interested in keeping Toni as a solo artist. Reluctantly, Toni agreed to be a solo act, but eventually got her sisters a separate record contract of their own. Toni's first taste of stardom would happen when she recorded songs Love Shoulda Brought You Home and Give You My Heart for the 1992 soundtrack to the movie Boomerang. The songs, originally intended for Anita Baker, both entered top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100. The success of the singles were unexpected, but LA and Babyface made sure to capitalize on it. On June 13th of 1993, Toni released her eponymous debut album. Practically overnight, Toni Braxton was a household name. And not for nothing, this record is perfection from top to bottom. Receiving production from mainly Babyface, L.A. Reid, and Daryl Simmons, the 12-song tracklist incorporates genres of R&B, pop, and New Jack Swing. Toni trademarks each song with her signature belts, growls, and grunts. When Toni sings, you know it's her. The album was critically and commercially successful, moving 10 million copies worldwide and receiving 5 Grammy nominations. In 1995, Toni began recording her second studio album. While she admitted that the success of her first album gave her confidence, she clearly understood the dangers of a sophomore slump.
I've been dealing with it well because I'm so grateful and so thankful for God for my talent, and it took so many people to help me get here. And I know that should I think it's all about me, I mean, God can take this from me at any time. And I've only had one album, and so many artists have had successful first albums and you've never heard from them again. So as to say, I'm an exception to that rule, but I'm going to try to do everything I can to ensure a career, but there are no guarantees.
Toni released her second album titled Secrets in the summer of 1996. Her image transitioned to being much more riskier and sexier than her previous album. The groovy first single, You're Making Me High, was penned by Babyface and Bryce Wilson. Its lyrics stem from an experience Toni had smoking marijuana for months straight. She states, "I want to feel your heart and soul inside of me. Let's make a deal, you roll, I lick, and we can go flying into ecstasy." The second single off the album, Unbreak My Heart, is arguably her biggest song ever. Interestingly enough, Toni never wanted to record it, and it was actually intended for the singer Celine Dion. However, when Ellie heard it, he insisted that Toni sing it, and it's been her signature song ever since. Pitchfork even named it the perfect karaoke song. The remaining tracks on the album cover topics of heartbreak, with Toni's lustrous and alluring voice taking you on an emotional journey. The production, mainly handled by Babyface, is smooth and hypnotic, with influences of G-Funk and Quiet Storm. My personal top tracks off this album go to Talking in His Sleep, Let It Flow, and Why Should I Care. Secrets moved 15 million copies and went multi-platinum in numerous countries. It was her biggest album to date, and Toni was at the top of her career. So as you can imagine, it would shock everyone when Toni filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy on February of 1998. Much like TLC and NSYNC, the way her record contract was structured left her with very little money to live on. Everything from the recording costs to tour props to the lavish dresses were all recoupable, which meant that she had to pay all the costs back to the record label. Eventually, she just ran out of money, and her only option was to sue LaFace and file for bankruptcy. The narrative that was spun by the media was that Toni overspent on luxury items, as Oprah once questioned her for owning Gucci flatware. However, the truth of the matter was that Toni signed a bad contract, and she wasn't getting compensated for the amount of records she was selling. By 1999, Toni was able to settle with LaFace Records and was awarded $20 million. Despite having a gag order and not being able to announce the news that she wasn't broke, Toni was at least able to enjoy the accomplishments she so rightfully deserved. The late 90s are my favorite time in R&B music. There were so many classic albums that were made in this era, and Secrets is no exception. The songs are effortlessly smooth, and Toni's voice is just one of a kind, so sensual and creamy. Despite Toni going through financial struggles and dealing with negative tabloid culture, it doesn't at all take away from the magnificence of this record. If anything, the album's history adds an extra layer of depth to the iconic legacy of Miss Toni Braxton. This has been Flashy. Thank you. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then it would be greatly appreciated if you liked, comment, and subscribe. To be notified when I post my next video, then make sure to hit the bell button. If you would like to keep up with me and get more pop culture content, then make sure to follow Flashy Magazine on Instagram. That's all I got for now. Thank you guys again for watching, and I will catch you guys with the next video real soon.